There's no ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine yet, but Ukraine's allies want to be ready. The British Prime Minister Keir Starmer says that his coalition of the willing is growing in strength and numbers. He's hosted a virtual meeting of 26 world leaders, including Anthony Albanese of Australia, as well as European leaders, leaders from Canada and New Zealand, as well as the chiefs from NATO and the EU. And they've come together to discuss concrete commitments to help Ukraine achieve peace. Earlier this week, of course, the US and Ukraine announced that proposal for a 30-day ceasefire agreement. Then Trump administration officials travelled to Moscow to put that to Vladimir Putin. President Putin said he was in favour of a ceasefire but had questions and conditions, and that maybe he'd have a call with Donald Trump. At the virtual meeting of world leaders, Keir Starmer said that yes but response was not good enough from Vladimir Putin, and he said Ukraine's allies had agreed to put collective pressure on Russia and move into an operational phase militarily. This is what he had to say.
We agreed we will keep increasing the pressure on Russia, keep the military aid flowing to Ukraine, and keep tightening the restrictions on Russia's economy to weaken Putin's war machine and bring him to the table. And we agreed to accelerate our practical work to support a potential deal. So we will now move into an operational phase. Our militaries will meet on Thursday this week here in the United Kingdom to put strong and robust plans in place to swing in behind a peace deal and guarantee Ukraine's future security.
Now, a notable absence from that virtual meeting of world leaders today was Donald Trump from the United States. But the British Prime Minister says we shouldn't read anything into that.
We are obviously talking to the US every day about what happens next. I am clear in my own mind that President Trump is absolutely committed to the lasting peace that is needed in Ukraine, and everything he's doing is geared towards that end.
How to achieve peace and what any sort of peacekeeping force on the ground in Ukraine would look like is still very much up for discussion. And there's already differences of opinion that are emerging. For example, the leader of Finland has said it is far too early to be discussing boots on the ground. Italy's Giorgia Meloni has ruled out a military presence from her country on the ground in Ukraine. From Anthony Albanese, he said he stands with Ukraine for as long as it takes, that Australia is always open to considering new proposals to support Ukraine based on Australia's capacity and comparative strengths. He said Australia was open to considering any requests to contributing to a future peacekeeping effort, but there was a qualifier there. He said that peacekeeping missions by definition require a precondition of peace. The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was also speaking after the virtual meeting. He said that Russia is really delaying things here to try to advance its position on the battlefield, and he called on his allies to do everything they can to put the pressure on Russia.
We want to end this war in a just and final way, and we have mobilized diplomacy to the maximum to achieve this. And the world must understand that Russia is the only obstacle preventing peace.
What's next? Well, certainly for the world leaders who attended the virtual meeting, they'll be turning their attention to Thursday when their defence chiefs gather in London to discuss the next steps militarily and what that operational phase might look like.